Today we're going to review plotting points in a coordinate plane. So everyone has done this before, but we're just going to do a little bit of review. On page 15 in your notes, you should be writing this down as I'm going through this. So feel free to pause the video to catch up writing or anything that you need. Also, we will be graphing some things later, so just draw those by hand. That's going to be fine. Just enough to get the gist of what we're talking about, we'll be fine. All right, so a coordinate plane, this is formed by the intersection of a horizontal number line and a vertical number line. The origin, this is where the number lines intersect. And they intersect at the point 0, 0. So that's right at the center. An ordered pair, this is used to locate a point in the coordinate plane. So this is written inside parentheses. And it's separated by a comma. So an example that I have here is in parentheses A, comma B. So your A stands for your X value and your B stands for your Y value. So the X-axis, this is the horizontal axis on the graph. And then similarly, the Y-axis, this is the vertical axis on the graph. Okay, let's do a couple of examples. So the X-axis, we said earlier that it's the horizontal axis on the graph. So what I'm talking about when I'm talking about horizontal is this axis right here. So I'm just going to draw a line. If you have a highlighter, great. I don't, so I'm just going to draw a line. Okay. And now the y-axis, let's label that. The y-axis is the vertical line, so it's just going to be this line here. So hopefully everyone can see that okay. All right, so let's graph a couple points. I need to move my laptop here. Okay, so now if I were to graph the points A, B, C, and D, we're going to graph them on this graph here, and we're going to count each one of these little boxes as one unit. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and similarly 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth, right? Okay, now off to the side here, I'm going to write if I'm going to the right or up, I know that these are going to be positive. Now if I'm going to the left or down, those are going to be negative values. So I'm just going to write that little note to myself to remember that when I'm plotting points, if I have a positive value, I'm either going to the right or I'm going up. If I have a negative value, I'm going to the left or I'm going down. All right, so point A, 2, 3, I'm starting at the origin, always starting at the origin, that point 0, 0 that we talked about. And then I'm going 2 units in the X direction. So 1, 2, and then 3 units up. And then I'm labeling my point. Every single time you should label. Just a random dot doesn't help us very much. Okay. For point B, I'm starting at the origin. I'm going to the left 3 and up 1. And I'm labeling it. All right, last point. I'm starting at the origin, or sorry, I guess I have 2 more points. Point C, I'm starting at the origin. I'm going to the left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 because it's a negative 4, and then I'm going down 3, 1, 2, 3, and that is point C. Okay, so real quick, I want to stop. If I were to name this quadrant, so when we're looking at a coordinate graph, it's split up into 4 little squares, and they're called quadrants. So this is quadrant 1, this is quadrant 2, we name these with Roman numerals, That's quadrant 3, and this is quadrant 4. Okay, so point A is in quadrant 1. Point B is in quadrant 2. Point C is in quadrant 3. And let's see where point D is. If I'm starting at the origin, since my x value is 0, since my x value is 0, I'm not moving in the x direction at all. But it does say that I'm moving in the y direction too, so I'm not changing my x, but I'm going to move up 2. And point D is right there. Now, point D, this is not in a quadrant. This is along the y-axis. So we can't say that it's in quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4, but what we can say is that it is on the y-axis directly. All right. So here I have plotted a couple points. So I'll give you a second to plot those down on your paper. And now what I want to do is figure out what order pair corresponds to each of the following points. So I'm starting at the origin, and point A moved 2 to the right, and so that is my x value, 2, and up 1, 2, 3. So my point is 2, 3. Okay, let's look at B. I'm starting at the origin, but instead of going to the right, I'm going to the left, and anytime I'm going to the left, I know that I'm going negative. So I'm going to the left 1, 2, 3. So -3, and let's see, I'm starting from -3 and going down 2. So I'm going down, so it's a -2. All right, last one, starting at the origin, and I go to the right 1, 2, 3. So my x value is 3, and I'm going down 1, 2, 3, 4. So my y value is -4. All right, hopefully this video has helped you review some. We're going to do some practice to go along with this video to fully solidify it and make sure that we are good on plotting points.